5 signs he's using you for his own gain. Number 1. See if he only contacts you on the weekdays. If he gets in touch with you on weeknights, but you almost never hear from him on the weekends, it's because he's reserving the weekends for the women that he actually thinks are worth dating. If you never hear from him until rarely on Friday or Saturday nights, but come Tuesday, his schedule is wide open, then it's because he expects your legs to be wide open too. Number 2. Once you do go out, he only asks you out again every once in a while. This time you do go out, and you have the most amazing first date. He texted a bit before and after meeting you. You know he enjoyed the date as much as you did. But for whatever reason, he doesn't call you again for a few weeks. Then a text shows up again, and he asks you on another date, which is just as great as the first one. You think you're finally getting somewhere with this guy. But he does his disappearing act and doesn't show up again for several weeks. What is going on? This is the kind of man who dates around. He had a good time with you, but then he moves on to the other women. Dating multiple women feeds his ego, and allows him to feel popular and in demand. Number 3. He doesn't see you if sex isn't possible. This, above all others, should be a clear sign that you're in the being used category. If he never bothers to see you day or night, unless he thinks sex is possible, you can easily deduce that's all he wants. Number 4. He will not talk about committing to the relationship. The idea of commitment can be intimidating, but it is a very important conversation to have with your guy, if you have not already discussed it. Try to bring up the discussion of being in a committed relationship. If it is something that he avoids having to talk about, then consider what he is getting out of your arrangement. Does he get affection, attention, and favors from you? If this is true but he will not talk seriously about your relationship, then he might be using you for his own gain. Number 5. You've never met his friends and family. If you are dating a guy, and you've never once met any of friends or family members, he doesn't take you or your relationship seriously at all. A real man would be proud to show you off, and introduce you to important people in his life, while a user will try his best to keep you a secret. You shouldn't settle for being swept under the rug by any man, and you definitely shouldn't let him pretend that you don't even exist. You should know your worth, and understand that this kind of behavior is not acceptable by any means. If a guy treats you this way, it's best to recognize the signs and remove yourself from the equation. Your guy should be super willing to have you meet his friends, and eventually his family once things get serious. If you have yet to get acquainted with anyone from his personal life, he definitely doesn't see you as a priority. Be honest with yourself, you could totally do better. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you find it useful, don't forget to share it, and make sure to subscribe to see more video in the future. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.